T-Rex, what day is it? What day? It's Tuesday, that day with no feel. That's always got a feel. Feels cold outside. Just went around closing windows in the house. Went to bed, it was kind of warm. Wind now coming from the northeast. Water is freezing. Well, not freezing, but cold enough. About 50. So if you live near the ocean, today's a chilly day. I was thinking maybe we were going to have an easy week. I wouldn't have to do too much thinking, but that never happens, does it? Yesterday, talked more about jury duty and Dedham and Blue Hill, but when I got home and looked up at the sky, it was turning all white and brown. What is going on? And all of a sudden, we all, at the same time, discovered that the fires in Western Canada, which were not a surprise, the smoke was coming to New England. But how could that be? There was an upper level low that was moving from east to west across southern Canada that would have pushed that air towards the west and north. Well, it did. And then the air took a right up near the Arctic Circle and then came down across Hudson Bay, Canada. The Cooperative Institute for Satellite Studies at University of Wisconsin-Madison, impressed? Showed this satellite imagery of how that happened. And also the Fire Information Resource Management System website. I had to memorize all that, by the way. Shows this, and you can see how big those fires are. I just happened to click on one that was close to 40,000 acres. So the smoke is in the sky, I'd say until further notice. Now, if you look towards the southwest, not too smoky. But then if you look towards the north and east, very smoky. So this air is coming from eastern Canada, but the air in eastern Canada is coming from northern Canada. And yeah, it was a little chilly this morning. It was down to 30 in St. Johnsbury, and the record is 29. Speaking of the Northeast Kingdom, Rad Andy, who I believe resides in the Northeast Kingdom, took his daughter, or maybe his daughter took him, to Tuckerman Ravine. And I couldn't lift the video, but I got the images. There's a nice video on that tweet also. Thank you, Rad Andy. Mount Washington this morning was about 20 degrees. Still looking like winter up there. It's a cool-ish high-pressure system from Canada, but Canada doesn't really have any cold air with it. Today we are having the anniversary of that 1977 snowfall, close to a foot in Worcester. My friend Peter Wild in Sandwich had just graduated UMass, and he became an arborist, and all these trees were felled by snow, and he went around with his chainsaw and made a ton of money. He said, "Look, Mom and Dad, yes, money does grow on trees." Peter, long time no see. Anyhow, I love that story. And of course, Harvey Leonard, first day on television, the day of that snowstorm, at least in Boston, I think. And Harvey also says there's something called harvological winter, and it doesn't end until about the second week or third week in May, when there was another snowstorm. I gotta look this up. I was actually having dreams about this, when that other snowstorm Harvey was talking about. I owe him a phone call later in this month. So, and if you go to the flow here, let's go to the 850, temperature up around 5,000 feet. The blue is cold. That lifts out a little bit over the next few days. We should see a warming trend. Boston only in the 50s today, but then back to the 60s and 70s and close to 80 again when we get the northwest wind. And then there's next week more blue and even some purple, almost some Arctic air showing up in southeastern Canada middle of next week. So I think we're going to bounce back down in the temperature department. As for individual weather systems crossing the nation, kind of contorted. One system missing to the south today, just like the Euro had 4 or 5 days ago. GFS had us wet today. Wind for the Euro. None of us saw the smoke coming, though. So there's always something. And then more organized, well, not really. It's kind of looking like two systems over the weekend, but resolving into one low going along the south coast on Sunday night, Monday. Oh, that'll be a nice drink of water, won't it? Hopefully that happens. And then there's some much colder air. I want to show you the 500 millibar flow. There's that air from eastern Canada bringing us the smoke today and tomorrow. And it doesn't look like it changes that much, but the upper level low in the southwest comes up into the northern Rockies, and it breaks in half, and half of that goes off to the west again. Another westward moving upper low next week. That's interesting. So lots of little things to watch. It's never easy. T-Rex, would you stop? Speaking of little things, are you checking your garden for little things? I didn't think that rose made it, but it made it. So I'm gonna mark it, I'm gonna cut the grass out, I'm gonna see how that rose does. And it's time for the garden to really take off now. I did a heavy pruning on this one. I don't know if you remember, but that was all kind of dead sticks. And all this is new growth. All that new growth since April. So that's great. That one's in great shape. That it is a very pretty rose, but the rose I really liked, that one down there, not gonna make it. And the peas, aren't they something? I just put these cages up Sunday, and look at that. They're already just attaching themselves. They're so smart. How do they do that? No, they don't have a brain? Well, maybe they do have a brain. What do I know? What do I know? I don't know how. This rose is gone. That came in like a very small cup for Christmas when we moved in, and I had just lost my dad. I really love this rose. Sad to see that it's gone. Water in the rain gauge? Well, that's because I watered the garden yesterday. Oh, and one more thing. Somebody had a question yesterday, Jim, about the weather stick, and I'm not positive. The one thing I do know about the weather stick is that it lasts a long time. I've had some weather sticks going for more than 20 years, and it's differential expansion of the wood fibers with the top expanding and contracting greater than the bottom, causing the weather stick to go up and down in different weather. Dry air, it points up, meaning nice weather. So the weather stick's pointing up. I thought it would be an easy one today, but it's never easy. But I didn't have to serve in the jury. I did sit in a room with 200 people, though, for about 3 hours, waiting to see what would happen. None of us got called, but I had a great couple of hours just walking around and going back in history in Dedham, Massachusetts, and also some history from the Blue Hill Observatory, where we're making new history this summer with the grand reopening. Leave you with that. There were about 200 of us up in that room, and we were just all let go. No jurors needed in the Superior or District Court today. Now what to do with the afternoon? Whatever we want. Wow, I used to promote the James Joyce Ramble on New England Cable News in 1992. Good to see some things are still going. Gorgeous day. Mind the pollen, though. Yeah, this is mostly what I remember about coming to Dedham. It's just being stuck in traffic. Forever and ever. Really interesting weather right here. High pressure in there due to cold air sinking. Low pressure over here due to the sun heating up all that cement. And we've got a little wind tunnel right here. Just had a gust of about 25. Fun with physics. Kind of feel like I might belong here. If it was closer to home, perhaps. Dedham K of C building. Knights of Columbus. 1897, 1997. And it says 11:50. Is the clock correct? It's 11:07, but it should be accurate in about 47 minutes or so. It really does feel like you're going back in time in these buildings. Old River Place, private way. There's the river. I'd like to see an old river. Were there herring in it at one point? Another little wind tunnel right here. Pretty. What does that mean? Teach kids to think for themselves instead of telling them what to think. I think we need some more mint. Think they'd mind if I had a little peek over the fence. Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. Exceptional gardeners live here. Stop and smell the lilacs. Oh yeah, beautiful. Well, I guess I found the old river. Charles River. How long has it been here? Longer than any of us. And Dedham. I wonder what went on over here with these piers. They don't look that old. And supposedly there's a town boathouse right over there. I wonder if I can find that. Yep, this is the old town boathouse. The house part is gone. Still some water though. Nice guys. They've had this business construction since the 80s. He said, you want to see some real history? Go around the corner and up the hill. Old powder house up here. I said, as in gunpowder? He said, yeah, from the Civil War. Makes sense to have it near the river on a hill, doesn't it? Easier to protect when you're on a hill, I think. I have to tell you, it is real fun not having to be in a hurry to do things. Took my time on the traffic this morning, wasn't that bad. Sat in a room for a couple of hours with 200 people I didn't know. That was kind of weird. The Powder House, built by the town, 1766. And still standing. How many hurricanes have you seen? What's going on in there? Looks pretty clean, so to speak. Focus, there it is. So there's the river right down there, the old town boathouse. And then this rocky hill, I don't know, maybe about 80, 100 feet tall. Not even, less than that. I find the weather along the Charles River to be fascinating. I call it the Charles River mountain chain. Often it's right around here when I travel up from the South Shore that rain changes into snow. So I have a big affinity. And the hills go all around Boston along the Charles River. 1766, one of the older brick houses I've ever seen in my life. Thanks for the tip, guys. Yeah. Couldn't go by without stopping in, see how we're doing up at the observatory. You know where I am now, right? Blue Hill Observatory and Science Center. Renovations in progress. Weather observatory closed. No public access during construction through 2022. Well, we're going to have a grand reopening this summer and everyone's invited. This is the biggest of the Charles River rock piles. The mountain chain I was talking about in Dedham a short time ago. All the instruments are up on the roof. Oh, this is beautiful. The flagpole. Last time I was here was with Harvey Leonard when we were talking about the project. I haven't been here in months. Oh, new observatory smell. Can I even wear my shoes? I feel kind of guilty. The floor. Oh, hello, Matt. How you doing? How you doing? Some interloper just walked in the door. And as usual, he's got his camera rolling. That's all he does. Out the door, weather and more. Matt,
hey, how you doing?
You excited for this or what?
Definitely.
You've been what? I hear that. I mentioned mercury barometer the other day. I said, who's got a mercury barometer? I said, I know where they are. That one. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them anyway. Oh, all new stairs, railings. The new hatch is not quite here. There we go. Sort of like your average bulkhead right here. Here we are. My first time. Oh man, pretty exciting. Guess who made a surprise visit today to the new observatory? Old new observatory. What year are we in? I don't know, 140 something years? And we're all invited to a grand reopening this summer. It's gonna be a 4-day affair. I think it's Thursday, right? July 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. The MCs on the first night, Harvey Leonard and Tim Kelly. And then the second night, Night Under the Stars. And we're gonna order up some beautiful weather. And then it's a weekend full of activities and events. Hope to see you here. What are you looking at? I'm looking at smoke from a distant fire. Orange sunset, May 8th, the eve of the most historic snowstorm, the anniversary